Welcome to the October 3rd meeting of the Kingsport Kiwanis Club. We're glad to have you here today. I'd like to introduce Matt Quay, our member, to introduce our guest speaker.
Thank you, everybody. Welcome to the first week of October's installation of our programming. I'm going to start introducing Mr. Tony Melson. A lot of awards today, so thank you for coming here, because y'all could have chose to go anywhere in Kingsport, but you decided to show up right here today, so thank you. Tony Melson serves as the Executive Director of the Julia C. West Foundation in Kingsport, a privately funded 501c3 whose mission to encourage and empower charitable organizations and individuals in the areas of education, arts, and animal welfare. Tony attended Tennessee Technological University, where he obtained a chemical engineering degree, and then went to work for 27 years at Eastman Chemical Company, where he retired in 2023 as the Director of Health, Safety, Environment, and Security. If you didn't notice, Mr. Melson also saluted the flag here, like Mayor Pat Shaw does, and the rest of you veterans in here. Thank you for that. Lieutenant Colonel Melson is also a retired veteran, serving for his country in the U.S. Air Force from 1991 to 2011 as an intelligence officer, Security Forces Commander, Anti-Terrorism Officer, Deputy Support Group Commander, and Wing Executive Officer. Many know of Tony's approximate 30 years of serving on the Boys and Girls Club, where he has led the boards at the local, state, and national level. He continues today as the board chairman for the Tennessee Alliance, as a 501c4 that raised $10 to $15 million annually to support the 20 different Boys and Girls Clubs across the volunteer state. Pretty impressive. Having grown up as the son of a minister, Tony learned early on what community and service before self means. Tony has focused his energy on those two ideals by providing leadership for multiple nonprofit organizations. The Julia C. West Foundation is the latest chapter in Tony's life of servant leadership, and one that he relishes, as the impacts are all local, tangible, and impactful. Tony and his wife Angie live in Kingsport. Their two sons are in Knoxville and Shreveport, and they absolutely cherish spending time with their beautiful one-year-old granddaughter, Eleanor Monroe Melson, who they affectionately call Ellie Melly. So if you all would please stand with me and give a warm Kiwanis welcome to Lieutenant Colonel Tony Melson.
Matt, I appreciate that introduction. I couldn't have done any better had I wrote it myself. One thing that wasn't in the bio, I just want to clear up from the beginning. No, I am not a Masters golf tournament champion. The green jacket might allude to that. Every time I wear it, Don Royson asks me, "What year did you win the Masters again?" Now, this is what I call my Julia jacket. You'll notice that I'm dressed in our team colors of green and gold. The board of directors adopted this as our logo when we incorporated this last year, and you'll also notice that it reflects the model city, right, green and gold. I'm grateful, Donna, for the opportunity. Matt, thank you for the collaboration and getting me here today. It's so nice to see so many familiar faces. I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge, I see Senator Bobby Harshbarger in the room, Colonel and Mayor Schull, and my county commissioner, Zane Vanover, whom I consider all of you my dear friends. There's a lot of friendly faces in the room, and there's also John Peters. John, I'm just giving you a little bit of a hard time. Actually, I married John's cousin back in '91. And she gave me two beautiful sons, Austin and Christian. She has since passed away, but John and I still call each other cousins. So good to see you, cuz. Good to be here. All right. Okay, folks, if you don't mind, I told Matt that I didn't have a full 30 minutes of content today. Is that okay with all of you if we get out a little early? Okay, yes. I'd also like to ask you, is it okay if we do some audience participation today? To keep this lively and active, I'll ask from time to time if you have any, I'll ask you to participate in the presentation. First of all, I'll ask you, who in the room knew while she was living the late Julia C. West? Show of hands. Anybody know Julia? Okay. Others in the room, have you already heard of our our mission, the Julia C. West Foundation? Show of hands. Okay, all right. So some of you, this may be not as informative, but I'm looking forward to educating the rest of you who did not raise your hand on who Julia was and what the foundation is doing. Down, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's just start with our mission statement, right? Miss Julia, our organization is named after Miss Julia, and the mission statement that was adopted by the board of directors is very simple. It's very simple. Our mission statement is to encourage and empower charitable organizations and individuals in 3 areas: education, the arts, and animal welfare. Deb, it sounds a lot like Amelia the Wind, doesn't it? So we're going to be working together quite a bit, I can tell. Yeah. So if you boil that down, all we want to do is we want to be the fuel to the engine of one of the most charitable cities that I know of already, the model city, right? We want to be the wind beneath the wings of organizations and individuals that want to do good for the model city. Here, I'll show you just a snapshot of the facility that we're at. Quick show of hands, audience participation. Who knew of the West and Rose law firm? Whoa, okay. Now we're talking. All right. Miss Julia gave us that building to run our operation from. I like to refer to it as the cornerstone of Kingsport. As you're going east to west on Center Street, it's that nice brick building that's on the corner of Center and Wexler that kind of announces to you, okay, now you're in downtown, right? So I like to refer to it as the cornerstone of Kingsport. Here's what we'll be talking about today. I won't read the agenda to you, but those are the topics that we'll be going over today. First of all, I'd like to give you a little history. West and Rose Attorneys at Law, that's the building that was the law firm, now it belongs to the foundation, was founded in 1983, so 40 years ago, by these 2 fine gentlemen, M. Lacey West and Steve Curtis Rose. Raise your hand if you know Mr. Lacey or Mr. Steve. Okay, yeah. So you will agree with me, 2 pillars of the community, right? They started West and Rose 40 years ago, and unfortunately both of them have met their demise, but Mr. Lacey's interest in the firm passed to his wife, Miss Julia, who is also an attorney, and when Mr. Steve passed in 2007, his interest passed to his 2 sons, Kurt and Chris Rose, both of whom were attorneys, right? 2024 was a very tumultuous year for West and Rose Law Firm. It started out on a sad note. Miss Julia passed away in May of 2024. More positive note, Chris Rose moved to Hunter Smith Davis Law Firm as a partner in the summer, and my best friend for 20 years, Kurt Rose, was elected to a seat on the circuit court as circuit court judge. So in the span of 2024, there's no attorneys left at West and Rose, right? It's kind of an empty building. Well, Miss Julia saw to it in her will to give the building to this foundation and also a sizable monetary contribution to do some good, and she left us some instructions on how to do that. So that's what we'll talk about today, Julia's legacy. It's an enduring gift. I want to say one thing about Miss Julia. If you knew her, you know this. Julia loved her God, her family, and her community, right? Those of you that know her won't debate that at all. Within the community, she had 3 main passions. They're listed there on the board. It's in our mission statement, right? We're honoring her legacy. It's education, the arts, and animal welfare. And in her will, she gave us both the office buildings downtown and millions of dollars to create this foundation to do some good work in those 3 areas. And we couldn't be more proud to carry on her legacy for her. Again, I'll just remind you of our mission statement. It's very simple. We are open for business, and I'll close my presentation later with that statement. That's just to reiterate why we're here. A quick introduction of our organization. You'll see audience participation. Raise your hand. You recognize anybody on that screen? Yeah, you should. Yeah. Well, you'd recognize Don even if he wasn't a Kiwanian. He's involved in a whole lot of charitable work in Kingsport. But I show this to show you, I'm happy to report that our organization is led by two Kiwanians, right? Chris Rose is our board chair. Don Royson is our treasurer. Miss Becca Wright is our secretary. She visited with you a couple of weeks ago and sat at the front table. His honor was the first chair and has passed the chairmanship on to Chris. And just recently, just this past month, we've elected Abby Kilgore, who's an 8th grade science teacher at Robinson, to be on our board of directors. In a couple of weeks, she will attend her very first board meeting. And I was fortunate enough back in November for the board to select me to run this organization called the Julia C. West Foundation. Okay, here's our operating model. This is what we do. You know why we exist? This is what we do. Julia really wanted the office space downtown to be used kind of as a community space. So we've got about 9,000 square feet of office space at 513 and 537 East Center Street, where we're offering co-working space where you kind of just pick a spot and work as you need, and the next day pick a different spot. Free co-working space for any upstart 501c3s. Amelia the Wind, if you're looking for office space, call me, call Don Royston. We've got a space for you, right? We've got 2 conference rooms where nonprofits are already using our space. They have their monthly board meetings there. Robinson Boosters is having their monthly board meeting there. Judge Jim Goodwin, who is the criminal court judge, he has a 501c3. They're using our conference room on a monthly basis for their board meetings. And then for-profit, we also have office space that we rent at a very attractive market price, right? We're not renting space to make a profit. We're renting space so that we can continue putting those funds back into the community. So we do have 7 private offices, lockable, secure private offices that we are renting to for-profit businesses. So that's the office space approach in our model. The other approach in our model is these millions of dollars of investments that we have invested, we anticipate that they will continue to give us a return, and we're going to give that return to Kingsport. We anticipate giving about $100,000 per year to these charitable organizations and individuals. Hopefully, we plan to do that to honor Miss Julia's passing in May of each year. Okay, another shot of the facility. To honor Julia in another way, you know, she was managing partner, owner, proprietor. She was a pillar of Weston Rose Attorneys at Law. And so to honor that legacy, we've named our building, even though it is the Julia C. West Foundation, we've named the building Weston Rose, the Foundation Building. So you can see there the shot that's looking down Center Street from both directions. First one's looking west, the second one's looking east. That's where we live. Anybody been to Weston Rose, the Foundation Building? Okay, great. So you know what I'm talking about. Here are the shots from inside. We have a very welcoming lobby. We have a fully equipped mini kitchen break room. We have a fully functional media room with Wi-Fi, scanner, fax, copier, all of that. Who's been inside the building at Weston Rose? Okay. Just a beautiful, welcoming area. Got a couple of conference rooms here. The one on the left is actually the law library. That's a Tennessee Code annotated going back about 40 years. Mr. Lacey, if you knew Mr. Lacey, this is where he would practice law. He was never in his office. He was always in the law library. The one on the right is where we have our board meeting, and also Robinson, and also Judge Jim Goodwin. Just beautiful representation of classic law firm. These are an example of some of our private law offices, formerly law offices, and they're available for for-profit use if folks are looking to start their business. These are available for rent. Co-working space, as I mentioned earlier, Sullivan County Recovery Restoration. That's Judge Jim Goodwin's 501c3. They'll be using some of this space. We're in talks with some other 501c3s as well to use this co-working space. This is just a list of some of our partners and clients and tenants that we have currently in the building. Just wanted to illustrate to you, even though we're less than a year old, we're trying to come out of the gate quickly and help Kingsport. You'll see that, yes, Kiwanis, Miss Ann Beckelman, has an office at the Foundation building. Robinson Boosters meets there monthly. In the center there, Sullivan County Recovery Restoration, that's Judge Jim Goodwin's organization. ABEC Consulting, of course. Rotary of Kingsport, Heather Cook has an office and does a lot of work for Rotary there, and also represents the Greater Kingsport Boys and Girls Club Foundation, and also Cook and Company. She rents space from us as well. Another audience participation. Raise your hand if you notice that I put Kiwanis first and just a little bit ahead of Rotary Club. Okay, yeah, thanks for noticing that, guys. Yeah. Next, so that's the building space. Next slide shows kind of the work that we've done this year. Don and the other board members kind of decried early on in the year that, yes, we will have a grant process. We will have a grant application where folks can ask for these endowment dollars. But to begin, to make sure the community knows we're here to do some good, we spent 2025 just making gifts. They weren't grants, they were gifts. And what these photos show is what John Campbell referred to early on. Our very first gift that we awarded this year was at PetWorks Furball, right? That's our board, and John's up there with us with Michelle Watts. And the result of that, we recruited together other donors that put our heads and our money together and bought that beautiful van for PetWorks. That was an exciting night. Thank you for letting me speak. Middle picture there. Another big check, and that was written to Dobbins Bennett High School Band. I don't think I'm letting any cat out of the bag, but we presented them a check for $25,000 at their May concert as part of being a legacy sponsor. Right? Dobbins Bennett High School Band are looking for 10 sponsors at $100,000 apiece to continue on that tradition of that national championship band we've got at Dobbins Bennett. I hope I didn't let the cat out of the bag, because tonight at halftime of the ball game, they are going to announce this legacy sponsorship, and I'm proud to say Miss Julia C. West will be recognized there too. So that was a fun time. In that third picture, again, there's Don and me holding another big check. We attended the Boys and Girls Club Gala. This year was their 75th anniversary. Can you believe it? They were started in 1950. Yeah, sure. Let's give it up for Boys and Girls Club. They celebrated 75 this year. They invited us to their gala, and we took them a check for $25,000, and we just had a great time, and we wish them well. Show of hands, who knows the Boys and Girls Club? You know what they do? You know who's running it? They got some rock stars out there right now. They are destined for great things. Yeah, we're happy to support them. So another quick show of hands. You see in this picture, every time I'm there in my green and gold, in my Julie C. West colors, right? Raise your hand if you agree. I've got the best job in Kingsport. Yeah, that's right. I do. Okay, so that's the two silos of our operation. We've got the office space and we've got the grants. The last part of audience participation I've asked you to do, if you've got a smart device on you, go ahead and pull out your cell phone and type in jcwestfoundation.org. Usually this is a public speaker's worst nightmare, right? People pulling out their devices in the middle of a speech, but I'll encourage you to do it, because I just want to take you on a little tour of our website. Back in April, our board commissioned our website to be built, and it's something that we're very proud of. A PowerPoint presentation doesn't do it justice, but please go there and take a look at us. On that website, you'll be able to read about Julia's story, much more than I'm able to do today. Let's see. Yeah, on the About page, you'll be able to read a little bit of Julia's history and not just what she's doing with the foundation, but what she did for her 85 years on this earth. She was just an angel of a person, and she's sorely missed. Also on the website, you'll be able to see some of those same pictures I just showed you for our office space. If you are, or you know someone who is looking for office space, either free co-working space for an upstart 501c3 as a kickstart, or for-profit use for a small nominal rental fee, you can just send us a message directly from the website. Also on the website, you'll find the grant application. If your wheels are already turning, I should mention I did bring some grant applications with me today, as well as some business cards if you'd like. But this is a good way to access that grant application if you're in this line of work, right? Okay, so that's about 15 minutes, Matt, just like we predicted. Yeah? Yeah, okay. So in summary, I'll just close everything up by saying we're open for business, right? We want the community to know that we're here. We want you to know what we're about and how we operate. If you know of a 501c3 that meets our criteria in those three categories: education, the arts, animal welfare. If you know of someone that could use a hand up, then please know Julie C. West Foundation would like to meet them. Also, if you know someone who's looking for some space to operate, if they're operating their 501c from their kitchen table, we'd love to meet them as well. Does that make sense? So please help us identify those folks. Quick show of hands, maybe the last one. As I've been talking about our mission and our ability to help in the model city, did anyone have an organization or an individual come to mind? You don't have to say who it is, but were there any thoughts of, this could be useful to someone I know? Okay, great. Yeah, okay. Well, then I've done my job today, right? Today was all about, beginning the speaking circuit. Matthew, this is our very first time on the speaking circuit, and we very much look forward to working with all of you for the betterment of Model City.
You want to take some questions?
Absolutely.